your harmony in Alabama has been, it's the hardest one to pick out. And does that come just natural to you from y'all just singing together and just knowing where to fall in? And I know y'all swap up, you and Jeff sometimes swap up, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I was, sometimes I'll do the high part and sometimes I'll do the low part. Back in my younger days, I had a good falsetto so I could go above Jeff or below him. But the good Lord gave me a talent for a dose of talent for harmony. But then I've really worked. I've studied harmony. I studied all the groups harmony, the Beatles and the Eagles, and and then gospel parts. The Southern gospel quartets over the years. I mean, all kind of harmony. I guess I was always fascinated with harmony, and to get to go into the studio and play with parts is still something I love to do, and that's what that was what I added to Alabama mostly. I guess was I would go in and work on parts all night, and then Jeff would come in, and once I'd find the ones I thought were the simplest, basic, but yet most meaningful parts, he would come in and choose the part he wished to do, and do that one. Then I would do the other. But that was kind of the routine that we did. But together, me and Randy and Jeff, there was together it was a powerful vocal sound, and just trying not to complicate, trying to keep it as simple and pure parts as we could. And a lot of times, the hardest part to find is the simplest form of it. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's true about any art form. Is the simplest form of that art is once you master the basics, then you have a chance at becoming better.
Yeah, and like songwriting's that way too. I feel like guys like Merle Haggard could take these simple words and just put them in a song, make you just bring a tear to your eye, pretty much. And Willie was like that. Just it's hard to be simple when you're writing a song.
Yeah, I think to me, I guess Willie is probably, him and Bill Anderson would be close 1-2 to my all-time favorite songwriters in the industry. And then behind them comes a long line of great songwriters like Dean Dillon and people like that I got to fortunate to be around. And great songwriting. I think I wrote my first song when I was 11, and I knew that. And I tell people I wrote hundreds of bad songs when we got to Myrtle Beach between 1973 and 1980. I literally wrote hundreds of bad songs, but I had to learn. I had to get all the bad ones out of my system, I guess, before I could find a good one. But it's honing your craft. And then I found out that the better quality songwriters I got to write with, the better I learned. And the faster I learned, and the more I learned about songwriting, because it is definitely we got 3 minutes as a songwriter, 2.5 to 3.5 minutes to give you the listener, a whole story. It's got to be most of the time, it's got to be all ears you're listening to, that sells you on the song. Sometimes a video can sell you on a song, I guess the visual, but to me, it's the heart and good of I close my eyes and listen to a song, and if I can follow that song along, it touches me in some way. Yeah, where it's emotionally or makes me want to cry, or makes me want to love, go home and love my wife or everybody it is, my kids. But it's a powerful tool. Music is a powerful tool, and songwriting is a powerful. But as I say, Willie is probably my favorite songwriter of all time. To have wrote the amount of songs that he's wrote that were simple, to the point, you can't forget them once you hear them. They're locked into your mind. They're so simple that, man, anybody could have wrote those songs. But it took a very special guy to get to the simplest form of presenting crazy. Yeah. I mean, it was how many songs did he write just that are not good songs, but great songs? They're touching songs. They're from the heart. They mean something. They're worth singing.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm a little fanatical about song. I hear very rare this day and time do I hear a song that emotionally takes me someplace.
Me too.
And I live for that moment. I love that moment. I used to, with Alabama, I would live for the moment when I found a song that made me cry or made me, just break down emotionally and say, this touched me. It touched me. It touched me deep. It touched me. And I think it would do the same for other people. And when I'd find a song like that, it was better to me than anything I'd ever found in my life.
Yeah. I understand. I'm the same way. It's kind of a personal thing, really. First time you hear a song, I feel like and I feel like music in general is just spiritual.
Yes.
It can heal you when nothing else in the world can heal you. I've talked about this with other songwriters and friends of mine in the business. I mean, there's been times where a song or just music has been the healing factor. It's when nothing else has. I think there's something to that.
Yeah, for instance, the song "Angels Among Us" that Becky Hobbs, was one of the writers on. That song, we've had so many testimonies of how that song touched people and got them through tough times in their life. Just every month, there was a new testimony to that song, and. I remember the first time me and Randy heard the song that me and him both said, this, what a very special song this is. And it certainly has been. And it's funny, the record company did not hear the song to start with. I'll be honest with you. They did not hear the song to start with. They said, well, we'll put it on the current album as a special track for your fans out there. And, me and Randy looked at each other and said, well, okay, and it wound up not only being on that album, I think it wound up being on 3 or 4 albums that Alabama cut after that, because it was on the live album. It was on, it was on the gospel album. It was just a special song that no matter how many times we done it or where we done it, it always touched someone.
Yeah.